Hi everyone, it's Mich here. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope you like what you see and want to come back for more. And for those of you, my crafty friends and kindred spirits, thank you so much for joining me again today. Today will be another week in the Collage with Mich. This is just a little challenge that I put together that we can all kind of create together. I know some of you are creating at home, but we also have a Facebook group, and it's Mich Crafty Community. I had a little thingy here, I can't find it, but the details are in the description box below if you'd like to join the little Facebook group. We are posting our little creations and supporting and encouraging each other, and even if you don't want to follow along, you're still welcome to be in the group. So this collage, you can use any format that you like. Some people are using the index cards, some are using flashcards like Susan Gasway, some are doing tags like Brigitte, so, and some are doing the Rolodex, which is one of the things that I'm doing too. So I'm doing the Memorydex, so there's quite a few. All the ones that you see here is in the playlist, except for that one. Is in the playlist below on my channel called, I think it's called Rolodex Challenge. So those are all ones that we created online, and they're falling off my Memorydex. There's the little owl and some books, and I don't have a real Memorydex, so I made this one out of cardboard die cuts. I love the little hippos. This is one of my favorite ones there. So yeah, so there's all the tutorials for those. And then as well, I've been doing a Rolodex. So there's a number of ones that we've done so far, and they're in the videos as well. And then I've been creating a postcard to send out. And I have a number of postcards. I do need to do a mail out soon, and I'm not sure. Here they are. And so here are some of the postcards that were created and will be sent out. Okay, so let's get started. So this week the word is color, and the prompt was watercolor. So I'm not a watercolor artist by no means, but I got out some of my watercolor paints. Actually, I've had them out playing with them on the kitchen table. And I just did a bunch of backgrounds, and I did them in different sizes. So I did ones that were kind of postcard size, and then I did one that was the Memorydex size. And this is the one that I'm going to use this week for the challenge. The other thing I did is I wasn't quite sure. I started to do kind of like an abstract thing, and then it morphed into looking at, where's my thing here? Right here. I looked through my stamps, and I found one that has some kind of crafty things, and then I found the Peekaboo Farm. And once I saw the Peekaboo Farm, I decided that's going to be one of the themes. That's going to be my Memorydex theme. So I took the stamp set, and I used Stays On, which is out in the other room, because the Stays On ink is waterproof. Okay, so I took, this is done in watercolor paper, so I just took some watercolor paper and I stamped my image, and then I just colored in with the watercolors. So I mean, aren't those so cute? You got your little ram, your little llama, your little piggy, and so I did a bunch of that, and I came up with some things that I want to use for this one. So I have some clouds that I did. And before I do that, I want to add, I've already done it to a couple. I was working on this when I decided I should go online. So this is a glitter pen, an aqua glitter pen. And I want it to kind of give the clouds a little dreamy feel. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but it gives it a little bit of a sparkly feel. And you may not even see the clouds. I'm not sure. But I'm just using some Elmer's glue to stick down the clouds. That's going to go in the background, and hopefully it will stick. I might have to go to Plan B, which would be a more robust glue, my Tombow. But I think those will work, I think. Okay, and then we'll just get some of these down. It is a very warm day today here, and I'm not going to complain because those of you down south, I'm sure it's a lot hotter than it is here today, but the Humidex today is about 34 degrees. It's a little bit humid. Okay, so I've got my clouds on, and then I had stamped this little fence, and then the little images that I thought I would use are this little horse and the little pig and the little cow. So the way it works is I've stamped it out, I've done my watercolor, and then I just gently cut around the hoofs, and I'm just going to have him kind of peeking over the fence, like so. And then that will stay down. Okay, and then we have our little cow. And his little hoofs can come up. And we'll get those stuck down. I've been spending time in the evenings doing my needlepoint. And I have a sort of mini blanket, I guess, that's all butterflies I got from Mary Maxim. And I started it about 2 years ago because it's something I typically will do in the winter. And I only got a couple of the butterflies done and then kind of put it away. And then I brought it out this winter, but if you remember, I did a bunch of lap gans or little lap blankets for the cancer center. So I ended up crocheting about 8, I guess, of the blankets. So that was kind of taking up any evening time that I had. And so I didn't really get to the needlepoint, but I'm seeing it everywhere on Instagram. Now here's his little tail, which I could stick in there. Oh, the needlepoint and the embroidery and stuff, and I was just, it just had me a hankering to get my needlepoint out again. But I have a little chair in front of the window over by where Chester has his little perch, and him and I sit in the window. Now I was going to glue them down, but I think I'll leave them to show a little bit of dimension. I think I'll just get the fence down and hopefully it'll stick. So yep, so we've been sitting in the window and I am absolutely loving it. I feel so content when I'm just chilling in the window. And I've been watching All Creatures Great and Small, and I'm watching the one that they filmed recently, like within the last 5 years. They're on season 3. So I've watched all of the seasons, 5 seasons, and then I just turned around and started watching them all again. Because they are just so easy to watch that I just love it. So my saying for this one is color makes life a little brighter. And then I have this little palette that I thought I would tuck kind of in behind there, as if I kind of color this world. So I want to get that down and behind, like kind of there. I know that it's going to get hidden behind here. So then I want to get this down. And then I did a little paintbrush as well, but I'm not sure. So I want to have room for some flowers. So let's move that down to there. And then there. So if you've watched All Creatures Great and Small, what do you think of it? I really like it. I watched I think it's the Yorkshire Vet or something like that, which is Julian. He's actually a real vet in Yorkshire who went to the Harriet School of Veterinary or something, or worked underneath James Harriet. So I started watching that in real life. And then I saw All Creatures Great and Small came on to, I think it was Acorn, not sure. So I'm going to lift this other flower up on a dimensional to just lift it up a little bit. Now I could, which I should have done, because I like putting, sometimes I like putting a little bit of string behind there. I scared Chester. He's laying here on the floor because he's hot. I had the fan on, but I turned it off so that I could film, as I was afraid it was going to cause a lot of noise. Now, I might not be able to use this at this moment because it might take me too long to find the end. There it is. There we go. Okay, so then I just like, if I can get a hold of it, to take a little bit of thread, metallic thread. So this is gold. I just get it at, Michael's. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of this double-sided tape down here. And I usually kind of put it on the back of the image, but I've already got a bunch of glue on the image, so I won't. And then I'm just going to wind this around, kind of, and just make some loops. And hopefully they'll stick out from underneath the flower just to give a little bit of texture and a little bit of blingy bling, because I love blingy bling. So has anybody been doing the slow stitch? And if so, I know Joy is. What sort of projects are you working on? Like, are you doing slow stitch on cardboard and cardstock to put in your journals, or are you doing it on material? I would be very interested to know. Okay, so this I should have used double-sided tape because, okay, and that's kind of in our little horsey's head. Okay, and then we have one that's raised up a little bit. So let's offset that a bit. And then the last thing that I have to add here is I did this little paintbrush. And I thought it was so cute that I was kind of thinking of just wedging that maybe in there like that. No, I want it kind of on top like that. I thought that would be cute. And color makes life a little brighter. Just going to trim a little of this white edge off. I went around with most of the images and just went around with my black marker just to take a little bit of that white edge off. You do need to be careful your pen doesn't slip and write on the front of your image, which sometimes happens to me. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the tail and the head there, and then kind of just lay that across there like that. I like that. And we've got our saying, and then I just pulled out some of my little rivets, and I was thinking that I would do like 4. I sometimes do 3, but I thought I would just put them there to kind of catch the eye a little bit, like right about there. If I can get them in a straight line. On Sunday I did a pork loin in the Instant Pot, and I'm so glad I did because I made 2 extra portions, and tonight when it's so hot is all I'll have to do is heat it up in the microwave. I kind of like this little birdie too, but he kind of didn't, I don't think he kind of went with the overall theme. And then I've got my little gems here to place in my flowers. So we have to have that bling. And there is our Memorydex. I think that's so cute. And then I did go ahead already and make the postcard. So there's the postcard. Now we did get a little bit of watercolor on the back of it, but so there's that. And then for my Rolodex, I wanted to go kind of with a different, I don't know, different kind of theme, a different style. And so I was thinking about who do I think is a great watercolorist? And that would be Beatrix Potter, of course. Like she is, I don't know, she is just was so talented. And I've used this book a few times in the past. So I took out a page just so that I can put that down in the background. And then on the overleaf, there were a bunch of little characters on the like the first page. So I cut out little Peter Rabbit and I cut out little Tom Kitty, and my first pet was a cat that my dad brought home. It was a friend of ours' cat had kittens, and we named him Tom Tom. And when I saw that, and it just looks, he was a tabby cat just like that one. And I thought, oh my, this is going to be an ode to Tom Tom. And then the saying for this one, our colors are the smiles of nature. And I just thought that was so nice. So then I just went and found, this here was a little watercolor replica. And then I just found some little bits and bobs that I thought we would just do a little collage on the background and then put our little characters in. So I was kind of thinking something like this. I have a little bit of Happy Mail too. The Canada Post is on work slowdown or something. So mail is coming in, but it's just very slow. Okay, so then I was thinking kind of like this, and then layer some tickets behind Peter Rabbit to make him kind of stand out a little bit. How do you think that would look? And then this. So, and then I was also going to put that kind of in the background. I think I will. So I'm going to just glue the bottom bit of him so I know where he's going to go. So he's going to go kind of there. And then we'll let him set up for a minute. And then little Tom Tom, let's get him kind of anchored. Oh, I think I'll put him a little higher. And then the little saying is going to go right there. So we'll get our little saying down. And just get that down there. Okay. And then we can just start to layer these. I'm not going to tack everything down on the behind bits because, again, it'll give it a little bit of dimension to have, and it doesn't matter if it's not going to get caught on anything. That might be too high. It does have to fit in the Rolodex box. Okay, and then maybe like that, and I can just cut this edge off like so. Okay, and then we will get the images down so that they don't get caught on something. Okay, so far we have this. So I did pull out a couple little, some butterflies. So I did want to get a butterfly on here, which is going to be this one, but because it's small. But I was just wondering, I don't think the blue would go, but the brown might be able to layer up a little bit of the brown labels, like this one here. Would that fit? Not really. It's a bit big. What about this one? What about good? The good. You know, maybe we don't need anything. Maybe it's just good enough the way it is. Because if we put our butterfly down, then that adds a little bit of something. And then we can just gently put a little frame around it. And if you are a distresser, you know, you can distress all your images. But I think that is our little Rolodex for this week. And I just think that they are so cute. Little Peter Rabbit and Tom Tom. So there's our collages for this week. I hope you enjoyed that. And I'm just going to take a couple minutes to show you some happy mail that I got from Valentina. I hope you don't mind, Valentina. We got some of the rivets, which I use all the time. And this homemade little journal, little junk journal. I just think it's just the sweetest little thing with some little images, and I'm just trying to find something really cute that I want to use that for. I just absolutely love it. And then just some little die cuts and some little charms. So I thought that was a nice little bag. Some little wooden butterfly buttons, which are really cute. Little snail, which is sweet. And then I absolutely love these washi tapes. They are books and plants, which is right up my alley. So we've got that one. And then this one here is a book theme too, which is really lovely and will come in handy in the collages and my projects. And then a little, I thought this was so sweet, a little bag that I can use to put, if I'm going out and want to take a little craft project with me, I have a cute little bag that I can carry it in. So I'm loving that. She did a collaged envelope, which I love, and some die cut stickers. A few little die cuts pages here. And then, oh my gosh, aren't these the sweetest postcards with the little sleepy owls? Oh, I think they're just precious. And then some napkins. So, isn't that gorgeous? So thank you so much, Valentina, for thinking about me. This just made me really happy. So I hope you're well. And that's all that I have for today. So I hope you enjoyed our video. If you did, I'd love to have a like, and, you know, feel free to join in the challenge. If you want the prompts, they're free on the Facebook page, or you can email me. My email is in the description box below, and I can send you the little sheet of prompts that you can kind of work along with us. And yeah, so until we meet again, I hope you stay safe and well, and bye for now.